shadows creep, waking up the mysteries. The old earth keeps exploring the unknown, keeping the wonder alive. He's bringing the flame to the legendary show. Paranormal among us, where the proof is paramount. Oh, we're talking about the ghosts and the good podcast times, investigating whispers from ancient haunted climes, from big footprints to a shadow in the hall. Amazing guests already answering the call, 'cause with Paranormal Paul, a new mystery.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday, happy hump day to everybody. Hope your week is going good. So far, so good this week. Last night I used the SPI app again, or not again, but for the first time, and we had some pretty good results. So we're going to have it going again tonight. I have it up this time to right there, and we'll see if we get anything. You should be able to hear it tonight too. But we'll see if we get anything tonight. We're talking more paranormal tonight, so we'll see what happens. Right off the bat, let's before we get to our wonderful guest, Cyn Shrader Hill, who is an author from Fayetteville, Tennessee, has some incredible stories that she's going to share. Awesome. I can't wait to talk to her here in a few minutes, but we're going to quick say hi to everybody in chat. Hi, Gary Carpenter, GC. Hey, Moon at Noon, Main House. How you doing? Sam's Pretty Paranormal. She's coming on the show here in a couple weeks. I don't remember the exact date, but she will be here soon. Moon at Noon, I already said. Hey, Gary. How are you, sir? Tammy Herring, how you doing today? David from Paranormal 411. Make sure you guys go on over there and subscribe to them. Also, make sure you subscribe to Sam's Pretty Paranormal. Sorry, I missed that, Sam. Hey, Roger, how you doing? Main House again. Pam, my wonderful longtime mod. We were just talking about you backstage. Good to see you, Pam. Moon at Noon, Pam, Tammy. I thought I saw Bryce was in here. He stepped out for just a second. He will be tardy. He will be marked absent if he's not back. Kitty Cattywhack is in here. Who else we got? Some guy named Paranormal Paul. What a dork. And I think that's it for now. Once again, hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. 2 more days left in the week. If you're on spring break, if you're in school, if you have kids in school, you only have 2 more days left of spring break. If you have spring break this week, my son's on spring break. And his birthday is Friday. He's a big 19 years old. Hey, Jilly. So happy birthday to him. I don't know what we're doing. It's whatever he wants to do on Friday. He's off. My wife's going to be off. I have to work, so unfortunately. But it'll be fun having him. Hey, Kenny Momo. Kenny Momo. How you doing, brother? Took me a second. How you doing? All right, we're going to bring Cyn out. Here, you know what? I wanted to do something here real quick. All the way from Fayetteville, Tennessee, welcome Cyn Shrader Hill. How you doing, young lady?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I've always wanted to use that sound effect that I have.
I enjoy applause. That was fabulous.
There you go.
That's even better.
I don't know.
Now that sounded like Tom in Mexico.
Tom Franklin in Mexico.
It
did actually, now that you think about it. I need
Is Tom okay in the jungle?
Yeah, Mexico's kind of dangerous nowadays, so I don't know if he is, But Cyn, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about being here.
Awesome. I'm excited to talk to you. I mean, I've been doing ever since September. I've been kind of on a Bigfoot kick. So it's been a lot of Bigfoot. Not that I don't like Bigfoot topics and stuff, but my background is paranormal. That's my first love, paranormal UFO, and now I want to get more into that. So I'm kind of spreading things out a little bit more, doing a little bit more of each. So it's going to be fun talking to you tonight. From your bio that you sent over, you've been to a lot of really cool places, and I ask this all the time. You know what, Mickey? I'm going to put you in timeout, young lady. Paul is not Bigfoot bait. I'm going Bigfoot hunting in 2 weeks, and they keep telling me that I'm going to be bait.
Oh no, that would be the wrong part.
Yeah. See, Bryce, listen to her. Yeah.
Wrong part.
Yeah. Can you write that down and send that to me, and I can print it out? Hey, Josh. Adam from Half Inch Wrench Crew is here. How you doing, guys? Make sure you go on over and subscribe to Adam. I'm like a kid in the candy store. I see something shiny and I have to go off course. Anyway, so like I said before, you've been to some incredible places. We'll get into the locations a little bit later. How did you get involved in the paranormal investigation part of this?
By chance. Really? Honestly, I've been wanting to be involved for a long time, just didn't know how and didn't know what to do. I knew I even wanted my own group, but didn't know how to go about it. Had no idea how to investigate. It was just, by chance that my cousin actually had a group down to investigate her store, and I didn't know it until after the fact, but I got the same group to come down and investigate my mom and dad's old store to see if my dad was still there. We had lost him in 2001.
Really?
And he actually was there residually, if nothing else.
Really?
But something was there that threw a rock, and there were a couple of EVPs, and that's really what got me hooked, because one of them was a really weird holy mackerel. Nobody in my family ever said that.
Really?
The building had been several things before the Autoport store that my family had. Red Cross building, ice cream factory, furniture store, just different things. In the 1800s, it was a turkey slaughterhouse. And the basement used to be first floor, where they had the vats and the hooks and everything. And they caught turkeys gobbling on EVP.
Really?
Yeah. So we had turkey gobbling. I was so excited. So excited.
Yeah, I mean that's odd, but interesting.
Yeah, actually, and so I wanted to find those voices, and a year later, after the same group trained me, I formed Elk Valley Paranormal, EVP for short.
Mm-hmm. Oh, didn't even put that together. Do you have any kind of, you might not want to, if you do, you might not want to say it, but do you have any tricks that you get spirits to talk? And anything that gives you great success?
The one thing that I found with my buddies is that if we quit asking them, are you there? Will you talk to us? Is there anybody there that would like to talk to us? How many are here? How long have you been? Blah, 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 blah. If we just start talking, can I curse on here?
Just don't say the F-bomb. Well, you can say it. I don't care.
Every once in a while, words will just fly out, and I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
But we'll just be talking shit and about anything and everything. How was school today? Blah, blah, blah. How was work? Or, I'll look forward to next week. What are you going to do? I just want some Jim Beam right now. Just blah, blah, blah. They will start talking, if nothing else, among themselves. That you might have a couple of spirits going, they're not even listening to us. I've caught all kinds of things.
Really? So your sound is really faint, really muffled.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Better?
We're kind of going in and out a little bit there for a second or two.
Okay.
But yeah, I've kind of found that, not asking, you think they're tired of the same old questions, what year is it? What's your favorite color? What's all that? You think they're tired of hearing that if a location is investigated too much?
Yeah, especially the more traveled to, like Waverly Hills and, all the biggies. They've got to be tired of it. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're there, pretty much all the time, and you got people asking, what's your favorite color? Do you like cookies? Hell yeah, I like cookies. I mean, who doesn't?
Did you bring us some?
Yeah.
Something. Have you
So-
ever used any kind of prop? Have you seen the props? And I'm wondering if they work. There's one, and I believe it's an EMF detector. It's like a plastic cigarette case, and you open it, and one of the cigarettes pops out, but it's fake,
Really?
and it's a trigger object. I just wonder how well those work. I've seen a beer can, and I've seen a cigarette pack.
But they're actual
They're-
equipment.
Yes.
Interesting.
And I can't remember who had that because I've been looking at all
Yeah.
kinds of different places, but
Do you know who Josh Hurd is up at Malvern Manor?
not off the top.
He's the owner of Malvern Manor up there. And thank you, Brian Bowden. Was just watching your show a little bit before I came on. He had Al Santoriga on, so those two together are just fantastic. Anyway, he has a spirit box or an EMF detector or something that is shaped. In the movie Ghostbusters, the contraption that they catch the goats.
The goat.
Ghosts in. It's that, but it's an EMF detector, and I guess spirits just go to that and okay. It just said we're talking about Josh Hurd, and it said leave it behind.
Oh,
Leave the EMF detector behind. Interesting. Okay. I told Sean I was going to write these down. But I've often wondered that too. If things like a doll that might have an EMF detector placed in it or something, if that would be lucrative, or I don't know about lucrative, but it would be a good idea to have if that would help bring stuff out.
I think depending on the location, I don't know what you would take to a place like Waverly Hills or an old hospital, maybe a chart, and say you're there to talk to them, how they're feeling today or whatever. I don't know. But maybe even I've heard that some people dress during the time period, and that helps. I've not done that.
Yeah, I don't. I just have shorts and t-shirts and jeans and
Right.
stuff. If I go to a cool place like that, maybe. Again, thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Drop the EMF detector. Grab the
Grab the
cannolis. Yeah.
cannolis.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Brian. So, in places that you've been, one that stands out to me and that would be really good with period clothing is Gettysburg.
Yes.
I think that would be, if you would dress up as a Confederate or Federal soldier, that would be really interesting to see what kind of reaction that you would get.
Yeah. If nothing else, dress up like a woman from that time that would help the doctors, because they had nurses
Yeah.
around.
Or even just, you have a field full of soldiers who probably are pretty lonely. I'm going someplace with this. And if you walk in there, with a period type clothing for just a woman just walking through the field, I think that would probably get some interest.
Right? You probably dressed like a can girl or something. You know,
You never know.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go to Gettysburg and dress up as a can girl.
Yeah, I'm not
Because I know people are wanting me to be Bigfoot bait. I'm not going to do that. Anyway. So what kind of things did you get from Gettysburg that you when you investigated there?
I did not get a lot of EVPs. I mostly just walked the place, and I just felt like I needed to be reverent there. It was one of those kind of days, and I've been there 3-4 times, and to me that place always is just heavy.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it's heavy.
I was there once a long time ago with my ex-wife, and just driving around, getting the tour of the place, and that just I don't know. It's just a heavy feeling there. I mean, it's so sad to begin with, but it just seems like a really heavy, sad place that I would really love to spend some time and investigate. You hear all these people getting cannon fire and gunfire and stuff, but I think that would be a cool place to go.
I think so too. And down around me, there's a lot of Civil War battlefields. So I get all over the country we've got battlefields. So those are usually heavy and with all the bloodshed and whatever.
One thing I didn't realize until this past weekend or so, that Missouri has an awful lot of Civil War battlegrounds. I had no idea. I mean, there was a ton. I was in Pilot Knob last weekend, and there's a Civil War like monument or building there that had all kinds of stuff, and there was in almost, I would say, half the counties of the country, there's a battlefield.
Wow.
And it's incredible. I mean, just think how much energy there is around. I mean, just outside in the ground. I mean, you could probably just catch all kinds of stuff.
It's amazing. I know. And I want to say it was Carton Plantation in Franklin, Tennessee, which is maybe an hour from me, a little over an hour. But it was, Franklin was one of the bloodiest. And I believe it was Carton Plantation. It might have been one of the others, but on the second floor is where they did the amputations, and they would just pitch them out the window. And at a certain point in the war, the body parts were stacked up all the way to that second story window.
Oh.
And no painkiller, nothing, no anesthesia. Just bite on this. I can't even imagine.
That was one of the opening scenes in Dances with Wolves, when he had gangrene and he was having gonna have his foot amputated or something, or put his shoe on or whatever, boot on or whatever. He had to bite down on that block of wood and to put it back up. Brian made the comment, do not bring paranormal equipment to any battlefields at Gettysburg. You will be arrested.
Oh,
good to know.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder if that would be to any park, any national park. I don't know if there's any other, like Shiloh, I think there's a battlefield in there, but that's interesting to know. Yeah.
I guess check before you go, no matter where.
Exactly. So what are some of your earlier experiences with the paranormal?
Some of my earlier ones.
Yes. What got you interested in this whole paranormal, strange oddity stuff?
Truthfully, I was watching all the freaking shows on television like everybody else was, thinking, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And when I really started doing it, found out it's not what they're doing on TV. No. That is not what we do. We sit in the dark hoping something will happen in 3, 4, or 5 hours. Whereas they put the 45-minute show together, 40 minutes, whatever, with commercials. You've got an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's taken over 3 or 4 days, if not more. And they've edited it down to the very best clips. And we found doing residences that that's what they expect. They expect you to come in, do the investigation, and then tell them exactly what you just got. And it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing for me. I was watching all those, I call them stupid shows. You know, their reactions, I think, are just so fake. I mean, you've probably been in locations where you've heard something bang on the wall. Do you? No. It's you stop. Oh God, what's that? And stop and you listen. You don't over exaggerate. And you know that's kind of the thing that I wanted to do is you're watching these shows season after season. Is that really is that the right reaction that you should be getting from these things? No, it's not. No.
And I saw someone mention the Z guy.
Yeah.
Zach.
Yeah.
And he's the world's worst. They came down to the old hospital here in Lincoln County, Tennessee, and they came with a script. Shock.
Yeah.
A script that had nothing to do with the area.
Yeah.
About 3 people later, they ended up throwing the script away and actually did investigate. And it ended up being one of their better shows. Mm-hmm. There's still a couple of things in that show that I don't agree with what they said it was. I don't. But one thing, when the owner said, "Hey, you can come investigate. I just don't want to be on camera." Right. The first thing they did was turn the camera on him. And when you look at him on TV, he looks like a serial killer. He's so mad.
Yeah.
And he's just very quiet because he's stuck on the camera. He's stuck. Mm-hmm. And he forgot a few minutes later, they heard one of the doors slam that was going to the roof. So the wind caught it and slammed it. And Zach went, "Did you hear that?" And Jamie said, "It's just a door." He said, No, it wasn't a door. It couldn't have been. And it did it again. There it was again. "Did you hear it? We've got to go up there." Jamie said, "It's just a door." "No, it can't be. No, it's not. No. And they went running up the stairs. And Jamie said, "It's just a door, asshole." And he forgot he still had his mic on. And, and the people around him were giggling. And it took him, about 30 seconds to go, "Oh, oops."
We just got the word grill when you were talking about the door slamming and the guy saying that's just a door. And okay. Yeah, I've had that happen. Mickey G, Zach is full of beans. That's putting it politely.
It's full of something.
Yeah, I too thought he was so cool and just awesome investigator and stuff. But I like watching the people on YouTube that just record what they see in these locations, maybe do a live investigation and stuff, and that's just so much more genuine. Like you said, you might get something, you might not. You spend 4 or 5 hours doing this. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll get a few things.
Exactly.
It is so true.
And he's an actor.
Yeah.
That's what everyone needs to know.
He does it for the money, and on YouTube, we just do it. I mean, we just it's fun, it's interesting to do, and hopefully you learn something.
And we're mostly broke. He's got millions. We're
exactly. I mean, the guy has his own museum. I mean, do you have your own museum? You have. I mean, you have a little thing there in your office or wherever you're at. But
that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. Then you can see how bare my walls are over here. I got a banner. But we're also talking backstage that we're talking about the EVP thing here. You were saying that if we're lucky, we might get some EVPs on your end.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
So I was telling you, we lost my dad in '01.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, Wyatt was born. So my mom, who'd lost her lifetime, partner, kind of perked back up when Wyatt was born. He was the only grandson. He was the only nephew, the only child. My sister had had 5 miscarriages, and Wyatt stuck. And we actually got to have him for 19 and a half years. I was training him to be my videographer. Oh. He was going on investigations, and he was listening to everything that we were telling him. And I need you to film this. I need you to listen to what Sean's saying. And Sean, one of his main things that he'll go in, if there's anybody here that wants to talk to us, if you'll get as close as you can to that little red dot, speak as loudly as you can, hopefully we'll hear you later. Mm-hmm. And Wyatt heard that. And the EVP that I got the first time stunned me. My sister was telling me a story that had happened, and it was a few months after he had passed. And again, we're still not over this, and never will be, especially Susan. And anyway, it was this story that I actually put in that last Signs book. It was something that had to have divine intervention of some kind to be put together like it did, and the outcome. It was just an amazing story.
Yeah.
And 6 minutes and 42 seconds in, now it took me a while to transcribe it after I heard the story. I had to just put it aside for a month or two. And then when I was transcribing, 6 minutes and 42 seconds in, Wyatt spoke. And I had been begging for a sign from him, anything. Mm-hmm. He was coming through to his mom daily, as far as turning his bedroom light on or off. And if she would close his bedroom door, he'd open it. And it was one of those doors you had to shove into to open the thing. Mm-hmm. And it was very loud. But when he would open it, it was soundless.
Wow.
It's the weirdest thing, because one night I was over there, and she closed his door before I got over there, and she says, maybe he'll open it for you while you're here, because I kept saying, he won't show up for me. He won't show up. And we were just talking, and maybe 20 minutes passed. And you know how you're talking, you kind of look around and you're just blah, blah, blah. Well, I looked toward his room and something looked different. And I kept talking, telling the story, but I was wondering what is different. And then it hit me. His freaking door's open.
Wow.
It was wide open. We had never, I said, Susan, his door's open. She said, oh, I'm so glad he opened it for you. But we didn't hear it. There was no squeak, nothing. It was, I don't know. It was the greatest. But then that EVP came through. I've told that story a few times, and I was on another guy's podcast. I cannot think of the podcast name. And Ghost Joe from New York was one of the co-hosts, and Ken, who had been in Indiana or Ohio and moved to South Carolina, was the tech, and he was also co-host. Afterwards, he messaged me and said, Cyn, you're not going to believe this. He said, I've already got 6 EVPs, one of them from your end. And I said, let me hear it. He said, you're not going to believe it. And I said,
really?
Yeah, I will. And it was Wyatt saying just his name. And I said, Ken, I want you to call his cell phone and let it go to voicemail and listen. And he did. A few minutes later, he came back on. He said, oh my God, that was him.
Wow.
It was his. He says, Wyatt, just the same from the voicemail. Ken couldn't get over it.
Wow. Yeah, I was getting chills when you were saying that. That that's that's one of the coolest stories that I've heard. I mean, that's why we do this stuff, especially the private cases, to capture evidence like that, and hopefully something will come through. Well, maybe not him, but something will come through. We've tend to get some crazy things come through here, weird breaths, weird little kids say goodbye or whatever. So you never know. It's really kind of interesting how I think that they're always here. They might pass on, but my mom and dad are always around me. People have told me that they see them or whatever, and I know the same thing is probably true with Wyatt. I mean, he's there too. So
He checks in. He checks in a lot.
that's good. That's and I always at night sometimes I'll whisper to my mom and dad, if you guys want to come around, feel free, we're here, you're welcome anytime.
Mm-hmm. And they might just shock you one of these days.
Yeah. Well, I've had very lucid dreams of them, and which I'm certain that's them communicating with me somehow. So, but yeah, that's a really cool story. That's a really cool story. And you kind of mentioned this before that you've done some private cases as well.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into doing private cases? Because I'm kind of interested in maybe trying to branch out and do some private cases around here.
That was just what the first group I was with did. Okay. They did a few, would go to bigger places, but for the most part, they had formed to help other people. Mm-hmm. And so mostly what we did was residences. I found out that one of the best things to do with a residence is get them to fill out a questionnaire. From that, if they don't want to fill the questionnaire out, they're just wanting a show.
Yeah.
They just want you to show up and see what you can.
Just wanting attention.
Entertain them.
Yeah. Now, do you go in, whether it's a residential case or Alcatraz or Gettysburg, and we'll get to Alcatraz in a few minutes, do you go in trying to know as little as you can and see what comes through, or do you try and know, something before you go into these?
I like to know something before I go. And with a residence, I need to know as much as possible.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I like learning what the history was of the place and see if I can get anything.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any, and by the way, thank you, Pam, for putting her Linktree up there. I have all of her Linktree thing in the show notes, so make sure you go on over there, all of her books. We're going to talk about her books here a little bit later on. So make sure you check all her links out in the show notes after the show, and make sure you check out all that stuff. And I completely lost track of what I was going to say.
It's okay. Pam's awesome.
She is.
She's amazing.
I got some fantastic mods too. I mean, everybody here is hell. We just have a great chat. Everybody in here is so awesome.
I think I saw my friends Jenny and Mike are in here too.
Yep, they're in here. Jenny and Mike gave me one of these.
I'm telling you, they're the best.
They are. They are
the best.
I don't know if they're still in the chat. I haven't seen them in a while, but they might be listening. I think I remember it now. The nope, that wasn't it. Then I completely forgot it again.
There's Mike.
Hey, there's Mike. Hey. So, have you encountered anything really demonic or really negative on some of your residential cases?
I had in one of the resident cases, one of the very first ones I was a part of, and it was with that first group. It was the first case I got for them as case manager, and it was the first one that he let me take as case manager. I'll say it that way because you have to be trained. So it was this woman that used to be involved with darker arts, and she had thrown away her Ouija board and all of her black magic stuff, and she was concerned that there was something in her house and she didn't want it hurting her grandchild. So called her, talked to her, got all the information, and we went over there. I have never in my life seen the amount of crucifixes and crosses, mirrors, and wind chimes inside a home.
Really?
And so much that you could barely tell what color the walls were in every room.
Wow.
And I didn't know why there were so many mirrors, and I understood the crosses, but wind chimes and the mirrors I wasn't really up on. I found out later that the bad spirits don't like to see themselves. They like to, scare people, but they don't want to look at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why she had mirrors up. And the wind chimes clear the energy. So set the tone a little higher, vibrate. But it was the first time I'd gotten to really, really listen to the spirit box. And at that point, for some reason, I could hear the words a little bit better than the rest of the group could. And she would say, "Who is this?" And they'd say, "You know." And I said, they just said, "You know who it is."
Really?
I don't know. And they said, "She's a liar." And I said, "They just called you a liar." And she said, "Oh, who is this? Who is talking to me like this?" And it ended up that she had not gotten rid of anything. She had dabbled and pulled something in that she didn't want there. When I got all the EVPs later, I said, "James, you're not going to believe all this stuff." Some of it was really dark. Like, they think they're going to walk us out of here. And then one was something about she'll eat dirt with us. And she called us. We're not leaving. Just some bad stuff. And it got worse. But when I called James to tell him that, he said, "Don't worry about it. She just called right before you called me." And she said she's not worried about it. She doesn't want us to come back. Well, she didn't want us to come back because she knew what we found.
Sounds like kind of nasty things. Not necessarily, I don't know about demonic or anything, but just kind of nasty things.
Bad. Yeah, low vibrational energy and just bad stuff.
So when you do the residential cases, are you allowed, are you expected to clear the house as best you guys can, or you just, investigate, find out what's going on, who it is, and then just, give them the report?
It depends on the family. Okay. If there are kids, we say it's usually better for them not to be there if we're doing an investigation, young children. But it just depends on the family. A lot of them have been using an app or some kind of Ovilus type of device to find out what is going on in their house themselves. And they don't realize that stays open. Because if you don't say, "Okay, thank you for talking to us, goodbye," or "That's all, we can't talk anymore, thank you, good night," or something like that, they leave it open and anything can pop through.
Yeah. I mean, always, give your intentions when you start these things and when you end these things and these investigations. I always, go through and, thank you for letting us come into your space and stuff. And, please stay here. I don't want you to come with me. I mean, this is your place. And I guess this was talking about the EVPs that you were talking about. Do you think she was setting you up?
I don't. I think she wanted us to get the haunting out without really finding out what it was. I think that was her ultimate goal. And when she figured out that I could hear what they were saying to her. She knew. She knew that what she had done, and she knew the answers I was getting and telling her were directly to her.
Mm-hmm.
So there's she didn't want to let us know that she had not thrown any books away.
Right.
We didn't, we didn't get that out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was just too much.
Right. So what kind of equipment do you use? Is your preferred equipment that you use to capture these things?
Just a little digital recorder.
Digital recorder. You don't need much. I mean, everybody's getting these, SLS cameras, all these fancy gadgets and stuff. Cat balls, camera with a microphone, recorder. You don't need much.
No.
Basically your feelings. Yourself.
Yeah,
we said it at the same time. I mean, unfortunately, when it's just yourself, you can't really, record that too well. But hey, I feel this. Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a little bit of equipment to corroborate what you're finding, what you're feeling too. So you've been to a lot of cool places, famous, the way you put it here, famous and fascinating locations, to say the least. Geez. And I'll go through the list here in a second, but is there one place that kind of, what?
Before you go through that list, let it be known that I didn't necessarily investigate all of these places. Okay. So even though I'd like to.
Okay, so, well, the question would be, what is one of your locations that you have investigated that gave you just incredible EVPs or other evidence that you've collected?
The most haunted place I've been to is this old hospital here in Lincoln County.
Mm-hmm. You worked there. Did you?
I worked as an extension. I taught aerobics and stuff for them when they had a wellness center built.
Okay.
But yeah, that way. But I was over there all the time, and we actually got to be the group when the old hospital was allowing groups in. We were the ones that did the public tours and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's crazy haunted. There's so many places too that, one of my favorite places I've been to a couple of times is Birdcage Theater. And I would really like to investigate that place, because when you walk in, you just feel so different. You've got eyes on you everywhere you go in. That's a fascinating place to me.
Where is that at?
It's in Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh, the lovely town of Tombstone. That's on my bucket list of places that I want to go. I mean,
I love it there. I love it there.
How many times have you been there?
Just twice. I could go
twice.
again and again and again.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that would be. I mean, just to spend a week going to different locations in and around Tombstone.
Yeah, and it's just the main street, and Boot Hill's not very far from it. Where they had the shootout. Of course, they've got dummies up, but that's the place that it actually happened. Wyatt Earp and all them.
Yeah.
Courthouse, they've still got gallows area, and the Palace. I think it's called Palace. It was a bar, but it's kind of across the street and down from the Birdcage, and it's this big old long bar, and back from the day. It's just incredible. You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go.
Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list. What did this say? Vapula? Vapula? I don't know what that means. Never heard of that?
What is it?
It says Vapula, Vapula. I don't have my glasses on. I guess I'm not far enough away. I have no idea what that means. Anybody here? I'm gonna type it in chat. VAP. Hope if I spell it right. ULA. Somebody could look that up and let me know what that means. Yes. But yeah, that would be such a cool place. What all did you get when you were when you were there?
Again, I didn't have a recorder or anything. It was just walking in and feeling all the stuff. And that was before I knew what I was doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get started in investigating until 2013. So
Really?
I'm pretty much a newbie.
Well, you've done it longer than I have. I started 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. But I mean, it's addicting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I always liken it to getting a tattoo. Once you do one investigation, you got to do another one. It's just fascinating stuff.
And you start finding, this place is haunted. This place is haunted. This one is. And
Mm-hmm.
people are actually starting to wake up a little bit, especially around this area. And you can throw a rock from one place to the other. Just keep throwing rocks.
Yeah.
You're going to hit a haunted place.
Oh yeah, definitely. What's maybe the craziest thing that's ever happened to you on an investigation, whether it be marked or evidence that you've gotten?
I think the craziest thing is something I've seen.
Okay.
And I only saw it with my eyes, had, no picture, nothing. But it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And it was at, here in town, it was an old business. The building itself had been built in the 1800s and then added on to, and they had something down there that was giving their customers a problem, scaring some of the customers. They would hear footsteps and door slams, and it would slap the counter. It actually showed up on their security camera and crawled up into one of the chairs, turned it, and looked into the camera. And it was just this fuzzy, staticky looking thing with eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So it would change how it wanted to be seen. It would be like that, the staticky thing. It would be a shadow. It would be smoke. It could be just a little bit of anything. So I went down there to investigate and asked to be sat where the last customer had been scared, and it was at a desk where she was waiting on a part. And the desk was one of the wooden ones that is polished to a high shine. It looks like a mirror on top without having glass on it. But I was right there, and I had my recorder. I had a drink, my sun drop, and I had my cell phone on airplane, and I was playing solitaire, just trying to maybe it'll come out. I could hear footsteps every once in a while. I heard pops and like a knock every once in a while. And I said, if that's you, that's not enough. You're going to have to do more.
Right.
And I kept saying that. Then you hear another pop somewhere, or another knock or something. And no, that's still not enough. And they had one of these old clocks that is the bird clocks that have the different sounds. And it was the woodland birds, I think. So it was birds I had never heard of. Okay. And it happened that one of the birds, it chimed, and that bird call went off. And it was a strange click, 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 click. And again, I have no idea what the bird was or what the sound was supposed to be, but it was clicking. And I looked up at the clock and went, well, that was weird. And then I thought, but that was not paranormal. That wasn't anything.
That's just weird.
And about the time I went to pick my phone up again, and looked down, and something floated over me.
Really?
And it was a black cloud with eyes.
Oh.
And I did that, and there's nothing there. And I said, I think I saw something, but I don't know. The EVP I got later, right after I said that, was, it was me.
Oh, wow. In that kind of creepy.
Yes, just like that.
Oh.
It was me.
Oh, my God. Any idea who that was? Who me was?
Some little prankster. I don't even know if it was human. It was freaky. It was really freaky. The other thing I caught it saying was, I said, okay, after a little while, I was going to go back to the kitchen and talk to them about what I had found and, see if there was anything else back there. And I said, if you're with me still, come with me. And the EVP was, one of these kind of things. You heard a lot of, and then it said, where's she going? And then I went out the door down the hall. We're running.
Really?
Yes.
That's bizarre.
It was a strange little thing. It was a strange thing.
It sounded like somebody was having fun with you being there.
Yeah,
somebody was enjoying the company.
I think it just liked scaring people, and it was just having a time down there. It was having a big time.
I can't lie. That would be me.
I think it might be me too.
Yeah. I love scaring people, and that would just be, I would purposely not move on. I would just, stick around and just scare people. That would be fun. So Jilly looked up the Valupa, whatever it is a powerful great duke of hell that commands 36 legions of demons.
Dang.
He teaches philosophy, mechanics, and science. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know why that popped up.
I'm not sure.
I'm hoping I'm not bringing something in that I'm not supposed to. Have you ever brought anything back with you after an investigation?
Without knowing it, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
We went on vacation. Let me back it up to say that when I first moved into this house, it was my husband's bachelor pad. And I moved all my boxes and all my stuff over before I brought my cat here, because cats get weird when there's a lot of moving and stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
So I waited. And once I got everything moved in, then I would bring her. But I had moved in because we got married. And I'm a night owl. He's not. He'd fallen asleep. I had not. I was fighting for sleep. And I felt Bella jump up on the bed at my feet, turn around and lay down. I thought, oh, Bella's going to go to sleep on my feet tonight. Wait a minute. Bella's not here yet. A ghost cat.
Oh.
So a few days later, it happened again, and he wasn't asleep yet. And I said, Greg, did you feel that? And he goes, uh-huh. I said, what was it? I don't know. I said, well, has it happened before? And he said, yep. I said, were you going to tell me about it? He said, nope. I said, why not? And he goes, I was waiting for you to tell me what it was. I said, it's a ghost cat. It's a ghost cat. We have a ghost cat. So, all right. That's the backstory.
Okay.
We went a couple of years later, we went up to Pennsylvania to see his relatives. And so we were all over the state. And then we did a little Lancaster Dutch country and on to Philly. And we went to Valley Forge, Gettysburg, and all that kind of stuff. But I got sick in Pittsburgh before we got to all the rest of that, and kind of sidelined me for 24 hours. And by the time we went through Lancaster Dutch country, I was still not feeling great. We got to Valley Forge, and it was a hot day, and I was like, just let me stay in the visitor center in this air for a little while. I can't take anymore. So he went and got the truck, and we left. And then the next day, we were in Philly. I was fine. We even had Philly cheesesteak. We came down through Shenandoah National Park to get back to Tennessee and had a great rest of the trip. I was fine. So just a couple of days after we'd gotten back to our home, I noticed something was different, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. So I waited for him to go to work, and I got my recorder out, and I was walking around going, I know somebody's here. I know you're here. I can't see you, but please talk to me. I know you're here. Uh-huh. And so about this, after a few minutes, I had just come out of the bathroom, and I said, okay, I'm turning the light off. And I listened to it again because I was doing birth session. And she said, thank you, when I turned the light off.
Oh, wow.
It's like, I knew you were here. I knew I had somebody here. And so I got everything out. I got copper rods. I got everything I could think of out that maybe she'll talk to me. Mm-hmm. So deducing it down, she was a nurse from that era at the Valley Forge area.
Really?
And in that era, and had latched onto me because I didn't feel good. I was fine the next day, and then she stayed. So about, I don't know, several weeks to 3 months later, the energy shifted again. I felt like she was antsy. And I talked to my friend and said, what should I do if a spirit, came with me from somewhere and maybe wants to go home? And Mark said, Mark Elliott Fults, my buddy, he said, tell her thank you for sure, and just wish her on her way. Tell her she can go back, she can whatever. It's her choice. And so I did, and it was almost instantaneous. So it wasn't until probably a week later that I also noticed that the ghost cat hadn't jumped up on the bed anymore.
Oh.
Evidently, they bonded.
Really?
She left. The ghost cat left. I can only hope they left together and she took the ghost cat with her.
Oh, wow.
Who knows? Who knows?
Mean, I guess.
I hope. I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, she stole your cat.
Well, it wasn't
cat,
mine. Yeah, it wasn't mine to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
But I love it.
That would be cool if they did. That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
I thought so.
Do you think that nurse had anything to do with you feeling better?
I do. Honestly, I do.
Huh.
I sure do.
That's
and you seem a little unsure.
No, I'm not. I totally believe it. It's just
how? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Mm-mm.
It's just interesting that they can make you feel one way or the other. Why can't they make you feel better? They can make you feel sad. They can make you feel mad, angry,
headachy.
Yeah. Why
dizzy.
can't they take it all away?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you just said something really interesting. Headachy, dizzy.
Yep.
Okay. So 3 or 4 weeks ago, my son had really bad headaches and really bad dizzy spells. And so much so that he couldn't go to school, he couldn't go to work, we wouldn't let him drive, he wasn't himself at all. And we had MRIs, MRAs, CAT scans, all kinds of stuff done, blood work drawn. They couldn't figure out what's going on. I'm hearing a little bit of I don't know if it's interference or something going on. We might want to check this audio afterwards. I don't know if it's just me, a weird echo or what.
I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. So when you mentioned headache and dizziness, they couldn't find anything medically with him. The only thing that they found was on an MRI they had scars of a possible head injury that could have been causing migraines. Possible. Medically that could be it. But, I wonder if something else was dealing with him.
You said yourself you wondered if you had brought something in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. No, I hadn't gone on any investigations this year until after he was better. So, I mean, he's completely fine now. So whatever this was is completely gone.
Good.
So I wonder if something, and I've had, some attachments come and go here and there. But I think they're all gone. I wonder if it could have been something like that.
It maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, because that's a bad feeling when all of a sudden they jump you and you just feel, oh God, this is my head and I'm dizzy and nauseous and get off me.
Yeah. Tammy made the comment here. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm waiting for one of his figures to move in the back.
Right.
That blonde one has moved before. So yeah, keep an eye on that, Tammy. If it moves a lot, I'm out of here. But yeah. But yeah, that's one of those things I don't like making. Doing. This is your interview, not me saying this, but what you said really kind of made me think that I wonder if something. That's
yeah. You just never know. You just never, and you can never be too careful.
Right, exactly.
And they can come home with us at any point. Mm-hmm. It's just, they come and go as they want.
Yeah, I mean, they could come home and kind of hide here and not really show themselves until something like that happens. Interesting. This is interesting. I've noticed when I go in places that my throat will get tight. Ever had that? That's not a
fun feeling either.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think mine does when I get kind of nauseous. It'll get tight.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one place that I usually go to, Ray County Museum out in Richmond, Missouri, out near Kansas City. The place is fine. There's no real negative thing there at all until you go down this one hallway or go in the basement. Then it gets a little wonky. It just feels real dark and real negative, but nothing demonic. Mm-hmm. Do you prefer to go to places that maybe have a demonic kind of feel to it, or do you try and clear that or do whatever, or do you go to places, for lack of a better term, a happy haunt?
I like happy haunts better than anything else. No, I don't want to. I have run into one place that had what I would call demonic, and yeah, that's not for me.
No, I'm the same way. I don't like the negative, crappy things that you feel. And the things at Ray County, there's nothing demonic. It's just, I think, darker, like a more, I don't want to say sinister.
Heavier,
yeah. Nothing, just negative, just crabby.
Sludgy.
Just there's probably in the afterlife, just like there are in alive people, humans alive people. What am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Here's what you're trying to say. If they're assholes in life, they're assholes when they die.
There you go. There's good people, good and bad in both living and dead. There it is.
Yes.
Figure I'll get to it someday. So I want to make sure we have time for you to talk about your books that you've done, you've authored, because I've kind of taken up writing a little bit.
Good for you.
I find it very interesting. And let's get on the subject of your books here. It looks like you have, how many do you have?
I've got seven, and
7.
I'm working on 8 to probably, let's see, the one I'm working on right now, I'm getting ready to bring it out. Um, that was something that my friend Mark gave me, Mark Elliott Fults, and it's actually our book together. But one book has now become a series of 7,
Really?
and so I'm working on 8 through, I don't know, probably about 3 others on top of that. So
Okay.
up to 17, maybe. It's going to
Really?
take a while to get them out, but yep, that's what I'm working on. Because I can't do just one thing. I can't
Yeah.
work on just one book.
So you're working on different books at a time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I,
Wow.
I get bored. I don't want to do the same thing.
You know what? I'm going to share my screen because I want people to see these. There they are. So it's not Goodbye 2, Death's Doorstep, Realm of Shadows, It's Not Goodbye, Web of Terror, ooh, Whispers in the Dark, and They're Speaking, Are You Still Listening?
Whispers was my first one, but speaking was supposed to be
This one?
I just couldn't figure out how to do that. The Whispers in the Dark is just 23 short stories, most of them in Lincoln County, and mostly that have happened to me, my family.
Mm-hmm.
And their speaking was the investigations, and the one I was telling you about earlier, the woman that had she'd been messing with the other stuff that she shouldn't have.
Right.
That is in the 3rd book. But I wanted people to be able to hear what I had found. And so I wrote the chapters. And then on the website, Oak Valley Paranormal, you can go to the evidence section,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a They're Speaking tab in the evidence. So you've got Old Hospital and then They're Speaking. And you can hear all of the EVPs that are in that 3rd book. And there's over 100.
Wow. So all of these are things that you've captured
In that 3rd book, yes.
in the 3rd book. Okay.
Yeah. Whispers, the very first book, Whispers in the Dark, is short stories about things that have happened to me around here on vacation, different things like that, things that have happened to my friends around here, the team. That the green book right there, that's the only fiction book I have.
Okay.
And it was just something that Mark and I wrote just to see if we could do it. And all the other ones are true stories.
Okay. So I laugh for 2 reasons here.
Uh-oh.
One, and it's nothing bad. Trust me.
Okay.
First, I got as I was talking about the book and mentioning your books.
What did it say?
What kind? Because I had just said, you know, how many books do you have? And you said 7, and it said what kind?
Wow. So
That's
all true except one is fiction.
right. And also keep in mind that I have headphones on. You can't hear anything outside of this. So I don't know how it's hearing anything except for me talking. It can't hear you at all.
Their energy, it's all frequency.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I was starting to write a book, and it was all short stories. And that's what you got.
Yeah. To me, they keep my attention.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really want to try and tackle a novel or anything like that. I don't want the book just to be one story. However, I just contradict myself now because I'm going to write a book about the old hospital.
Okay.
So it's going to be just the old hospital, but it's going to be.
That's going to be a fascinating one, I think.
I think it will too.
Not that these aren't. I'm sure they are. But I think that anything when you talk
You know,
about a haunted hospital, that's going to be freaking awesome.
right?
Yeah.
Now that you just made me think of something, Death's
I'm sorry.
Doorstep. No, 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 no. But Pam has a story in Death's Doorstep, and so do Jenny and Mike.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So go check them out.
Hmm.
So I think we were meant to talk tonight because I've been working with BJ Lapierre, who's in chat. She's not in chat tonight, I don't think, but she's an author as well. She does horror books, and I've been sending her what I'm writing, and she's kind of editing them for me, and she knows my plan on making all this into a book and stuff. And I had no idea that you were doing this or you did this and have short stories and stuff. And I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
And a lot of what I'm coming up with is fiction, but it's based on true places and true events.
that should be good. That
Yeah.
should be really good.
And I'm finding it fascinating to and it just flows really easy too. I
That's
mean,
awesome. That is
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, talk about your writing process and on doing some of these, especially the fictional one. How did that just come about with you?
Um, one of the stories in there um, is a traumatic experience that actually happened to me, and then I added fiction to it to make it a fiction story. But my brother was really mean to me growing up,
Really?
and he put me in a trunk when I was little
Oh,
and sat on it, and I couldn't get out. I, I was in, it was like a wooden trunk, my grandmother's
yeah.
wooden trunk. And I put that out of my head, and in therapy a few years ago, this comes out, and I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't a dream, that was real. And I asked him, I said, did you put me in a trunk when I was little? He said, probably. You were always, rah, 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 rah. Oh my God, what an ass. So,
Yeah.
so in this book, I get back at him, and it's about this little
I
girl
love it.
that gets put in a trunk. She dies, but
Well,
she haunts him. So that was me getting back at my brother.
that's awesome. I love that idea.
Damn him.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So when you read the trunk story, that's the one about my brother, you guys.
Okay. And that is on Web of Terror, correct?
That's in Web of Terror, yeah.
Okay. And where can people find these?
They're on Amazon. I'm also going to have them available in on Ingram Sparks, which puts them out in the bigger stores like Barnes and Noble and even Walmart and Target and stuff like that. But they're not there yet. I'm working on that.
Interesting.
They're all at Amazon right now. And if you put my name in, Cyn Shrader Hill, you'll also bring up Mark Elliott Fults books and Eric Freeman Sims books. Anybody that I've edited for,
Hmm.
you'll pull them up too. So
Oh, nice.
Mark and I formed our little publishing company,
Oh,
FultsHill
yeah.
Press. So we've got our books
Oh,
under
cool.
that. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. How long has it taken you to write all these?
I started, my first one was 2018. And so I'm
Oh, wow. That's
7 now. And
yeah. I mean, that's a lot in a relatively short amount of time.
let's see, 2025, I didn't do, oh yeah, no, I got 2 of mine out last year. But in 2024 and a few months before that, I was working on Mark's cookbook, which is this huge telephone book size cookbook. And it's got over 1,700 recipes in it. So it took 14 months to put this thing together. And so he said for the next year, he said, you do you this coming year, and we'll pick back up later. And so now we're picking back up later and doing
cool.
books together again. But
That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool. That's a fun thing to do, I think. Just, let creativity just flow out of your fingers, keyboard, pen, whatever it is you're writing with. I think that's pretty awesome.
yeah.
So some of these places that I wanted to kind of get to, you said that you haven't investigated, but you visited these locations. Gettysburg, we talked about. Alcatraz, did you get to investigate Alcatraz?
Went on a group tour for that, and that's a heavy feeling place.
Yeah. We did a vacation out there and we went to see Alcatraz, and my son was younger at the time, so he wasn't as interested in it as we were. But I would love to go back there and just kind of.
Yes. Winchester Mystery House, not very far from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible place to go to if you get a chance.
Yeah. Tower of London.
Yeah.
It just said done waiting. Ooh, we're talking about a prison, and it said done waiting.
Wow.
Okay. The Rothenburg dungeons.
Dungeon.
And there's the shrine. I can't pronounce it. Jinju shrine.
Yeah. There's several shrines I went to in Japan. Those
Really?
are amazing.
Really. So in Japan, how long were you in Japan?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Well, do they? I don't know if they celebrate hunts like this, or do they? Is it a big deal there like it is here?
I think they're getting to be more and more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think. Well, I was going to say I don't think anybody's as haunted as us, but Europe is more
I
haunted
would think.
than we are.
Yeah. I would think Tower of London is
It's
just
incredible,
filled with all kinds of energy.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're gonna find.
The tower has not only haunted people haunting the place, but they've also got animals haunting it. There's a bear that has been seen there.
Really?
Yeah, a bear in the tower.
What the hell is a bear doing in the Tower
Yeah,
of London?
I don't know.
That's weird.
But he has been seen a few times by different people. It's incredible. Actually, I'll tell you a little bit about the series coming up. I've got Tower of London stories in this first one coming out. It's going to be the Unquiet Dead, and it's antique and vintage newspaper stories. So some of these are from the late 1700s. Some are most of them are 1800s and up to 1920ish. I think the latest one I got is back in 1950 something, and I'm not taking any later stories to write about. But Tower of London is there. Anne Boleyn supposedly walks around with her head, and she's also riding in a carriage with headless horses, headless drivers, and she's carrying her head in her lap. So, and then her father is also in a headless horse-drawn carriage.
Wow.
So there's a ton of those. There's phantom pigs there. Phantom. I don't know. Just one thing after another.
That's just. I mean, I guess the headless horsemen and the headless horses, I can see that maybe, but where would a pig?
I know.
How would a pig be hunting there? That's
I
bizarre.
don't
And
know.
a bear?
I know. There's a and the pigs might have been Ireland. I can't, but it's over there. So,
Yeah.
Or Wales. But it's a
That's
pack of
interesting.
pigs that run across the road, and they're phantom pigs. Just different things like that. We've got phantom camels in Arizona.
Really?
Yeah. And
I mean, I guess why not? I mean, if humans can be spirits after death, why can't pets and animals
There's a cemetery in Chicago or right out of Chicago that there was a circus train wreck back years and years and years ago. And all the animals, everything they lost. But it's been said that people have heard the elephants after the crash. Now, they've not seen elephants, but they've heard them.
Wow. I mean, why not? I mean, that's just crazy. I mean,
You never know.
If you're listening to EVPs, I mean, that's not static. Maybe that's an elephant making it sound whatever it is.
Right?
That's weird. Check it. Just be
They
safe.
caught turkey, so why not?
Yeah, yeah. And we have about 9 minutes to go. We really have no heart out, but I like to be 90 minutes. Talk a little bit more about Elk Valley Paranormal. What you guys do, and where can people find you guys?
ElkValleyParanormal.com. You can reach out to us on there. You can look at the evidence we caught at the old hospital, as well as listen to those EVPs I was telling you about. We do residential cases and business, commercial, and then we go to abandoned places as well when we get a chance. When 2020 hit, what I did mostly is help people clear their energy on Zoom calls, teach them how to do it themselves, because nobody was allowed to be around anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we kind of got out of it after we lost Wyatt. And it was kind of hard getting back in. I've been going different places with friends of mine. The team hasn't gotten to do anything recently, so it's just taking a break and basically helping people learn to do it in their own homes.
That's cool. Are you getting the band back together, and you guys going to eventually get back out and go places?
Yeah, we're going to. We're gearing back up.
Do you prefer to stick around Fayetteville, or do you want to venture around the country a little bit?
Oh, yeah. We want to go to Waverly Hills for sure, and different places, St. Augustine.
Oh, yeah.
We want to go there. We were talking about doing different things. So we'll see what happens.
What's on your bucket list? What's a place that you, not Waverly Hills, what is just some place that you have to go?
It's St. Augustine and Key West. I want to go to Key West.
You want to go see Robert the Doll, don't you?
Yes, I do. That's part of it.
Yeah. What do you think about him, that you have to ask permission to take his picture? Do you think all that's true? Are you going to try and take his picture, or what do you think?
I think I'm going to go by the rules because I don't want any bad stuff to happen. After I was telling you about going to the one place that had demonic stuff, following for several months, we had problems. Different things happened to my family, to Mark's family, and we were having to work on clearing energy a lot.
Really?
A lot. Yeah. So, that just makes me, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought your husband up again, because that reminded me, I wanted to ask you, is he a skeptic in all this, or is he a believer?
He has become more of a believer. When we lost Wyatt, he stepped in to do the things Wyatt was doing. So not videographer, but Wyatt was going with me on book signings and going out, handing out my business cards to people. Greg won't do that, but because Wyatt was like, "Hey, y'all got to come in and look at this book my aunt just wrote. It's the best, and she's the best," and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I can't get my husband to do that for some reason. But that's okay. That's okay. he goes to the haunts, and he started to learn, and he's seen a few things and heard a few things.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's supportive of you. That's pretty
He
cool.
is. He is.
That's
He's a
awesome
good
that he
guy.
does that. I'm still trying to get my wife to go with me on some of these investigations, but she keeps saying that this is your thing. These are your people. You enjoy it. I'm like, okay, but I'd like for you to go sometime. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, she
But-
probably will one of these days.
Yeah, I'm gonna force her to
If
go.
it's the right location that she's been waiting for you to go to or something.
And I'm not going to take her to any nasty place. So we have a place here. I'm in St. Louis, just northwest of me in Marthasville, called Emmaus Asylum, and it's got everything. And we didn't really talk about UFOs or cryptids here tonight, but it's got everything that you want. I mean, we've had cryptid. I found a Bigfoot print right outside where we stayed one night.
What?
We've had howls, we've had UFOs in the sky, we've had all kinds of messed up stuff there. I mean, it's got everything that an investigator would ever want. So that's a really cool place.
That sounds like a great place to go to.
Wi-Fi is terrible, but I mean, it's a great place. It's a great place to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's just so many places.
I know. I mean, how do you pick just what you want to go, really?
Yeah. I've started picking and choosing the Paracons and stuff because it'll be a place that I've really wanted to go to and I hadn't had a chance to be around it and do a little side trip that way. But and meet different people too. So that's a cool thing.
Right. It just said, who was it when we were talking about asylums and stuff. Do you get to many Paracons?
I'm going back to Goblin Con this year.
Where's that at?
That's in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Okay.
It was in October last year, and it was the first one they had. It was great.
Mm-hmm. And
this year it's going to be in August, which is when they had the incident with the goblins back 70. I think this year will be 71 years ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So it was a really good one. Eric Freeman Sims is putting it together again, the event coordinator. Mm-hmm. And Eric has his own haunted house that you can rent in Hopkinsville called the Night House, Kentucky.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you'd like to talk to Eric. He's a good guy.
Oh yeah. I have to get some information from you from him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How close are you to Gettysburg? Not Gettysburg, Gatlinburg. I get those birds mixed up.
3.5 to 4 hours.
Okay. And
I love that place.
Townsend's pretty close to there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm with a group of other podcasters, Blondes and Booze. Everybody in the chat knows them and everything. We went to Townsend last year for the Bigfoot Festival, and I mean that was just fantastic. And there's one in Gatlinburg, not Gettysburg. So that's pretty cool too. So I didn't know if you would go to those at all.
Yeah. I just haven't been to them yet.
Yeah, but those are pretty cool to go to.
Okay.
So yeah, and they're all over. And I forgot to mention, and this reminded me from last night we had Bryce Edwards on. He is going to be, and we both forgot to mention this last night. He is going to be speaking at the Big Muddy Monster Fest on June 20th in Murfreesboro, Illinois, which is near Carbondale, I believe. So if you're in the area, go check that out. Sorry, I had to.
Not a problem.
Before I forget things,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but this has been a very fun night. I'm glad that I reached out to you, and I'm really glad that we got to talk. And I think we were meant to talk tonight about the author and stuff. We both the interest and stuff, and I just you're fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on.
I think you are.
Well,
I think you are. So thanks for
you.
having me. I appreciate you.
No problem.
And
you're welcome back anytime.
People in the chat were fantastic.
I always say that I have the best chat room around. There's no drama in there. Everybody gets along really good. And when we do have people that don't get along, we'll have great mods that take care of it. So, it's just an awesome group. So thank you all for being so awesome. So real quick note, no shows next week. I'm going to kind of take a week off. I'm going to be out of town for the middle of the week. So you won't get to see me next week, but 28th I will be in on Bryce's farm. So I'm going to plan to go live if we can that weekend. So real quick thank you to Moon at Noon, hoisting Paul's flag. Take that, Super Cat. Okay. Brian Bowden, great to see you, Cyn, and on Paranormal Among Us. You know Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. He's a great guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
Drop the EMF detector.
He also has a story in Death's Doorstep.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So guys, go out and buy that on Amazon.com. Just type your name in, Cyn Shrader Hill, and you'll get all her books. Go do it. Go do it now.
Please.
Don't make me come and get you.
Pretty please. And
All
Jenny
right.
said bye. Bye, Jenny. I love you.
It's cool that you knew them and you knew Pam and Jenny and Mike and
Pam's amazing.
Brian. She is.
She is amazing.
She is. But all right, guys. It's 11 o'clock where you are and 10 o'clock here, and it's past my bedtime. So
No, it's just 10 o'clock here too.
oh, 10 o'clock. I thought you were
And
east.
I'm just getting started. I won't go to bed until 3:30 or 4.
Oh my God, I'm getting up then.
No,
Well, 4 maybe.
I'll be typing. I'll be working on it.
Is that when you write? Well,
Yep.
well, I guess no distractions.
None.
Okay. I'd fall asleep at the keyboard. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for being here in chat, and we will see you. God, I don't know when on the 31st, and I believe the 31st is Jilly's going to be on doing some readings for us. So, thank you all. I just heard another voice, but I think that was me. I hear things. Everybody, have a great night. Have a great week ahead, and we will talk to you all later.
Paul Anthony stands ready in the show mixtape. Host of Paranormal Aim, but never running late.
Chasing down red house and lights across the sky, but the strangest sighting happens when the G's say goodbye.
Paranormal among us, the spirits are near. Paranormal among us, and the stars are among us, my dear. Then the camera dips low when the blue boxes appear instead. Let's get Strings of gold and the end of gold are typical. From Kenrick's meat market by day to haunted halls at night.
Got helmet humming, EVPs whispering fight.
Saturday at 7, Tuesday at 6:30 Central Time.
The chat explodes when the turquoise glory starts to shine. Paranormal among us, that much we know.
But Paul's naughty blue shorts among us in full show. Anchor